confident all week.
Because, I mean, he was still explosive. I mean, don't forget, he won every round, and in the 12th, he's still trying to stop him. When I'm just going, just circle. I'm like, I can't, just chill and he's like still going for the finish.
Conor boxed amazing. He boxed that way the first time he won the fight. He worked on his jab, worked on moving. I say it to somebody like, if Conor jabs and moves his head on defense, he wins the fight, and he won it.
Chris had nothing to give. And that, you remember the last fight, Chris had nothing left to give. Conor did. The way Conor boxed, he did. He never left him alone. Ripped his heart out. He did the right thing.
Listen, Conor had to deal with a lot of emotional pressure going into that fight, so you can take nothing away from his performance. He come out victorious.
I think Conor Benn's sound, like I know him quite well. Eubank shot to bits, done, finished, terrible. He was awful, he was terrible. I'm not a great fighter, but he was terrible by his standards. He was awful, he was terrible, he was shot to bits, his balance is gone. Every time he got hit in the head, he looked startled and looked like he didn't want to be there.
Happy that I could stay disciplined in there. He tried dragging me into a fight in there, and I stayed disciplined. And for me, that was the main thing that was working on all camp, was staying disciplined. Can I stay disciplined? And for me, I did.
He made them adjustments to box smart. He outboxed Chris, which a lot of people said he wouldn't be able to do. He hurt Chris obviously in the last round, but he was hurting him with body shots all the way through the fight.
Boxing world stuns. After Conor Benn's dominant win over Chris Eubank Jr., Adam Smith's reaction reflects what many noticed. But let's be honest, this wasn't the Chris Eubank Jr. we're used to seeing. Ben had rhythm, sure, but Chris looked drained, sluggish, and nowhere near the sharp technician we normally back. A switched-on, fully fueled Eubank Jr. doesn't get walked down like this. Tonight's version wasn't our guy, it was a shell.
Yeah, that's sort of what everyone's saying. I think that Conor Benn boxed really well. I thought he was smart behind the jab. I thought his jabs were excellent tonight to head and to body. I thought his body shots were good. His movement, I mean, Conor Benn put a standout performance on. If you look at Chris, I thought he looked flat. I thought he was sort of stuck in.
Eddie Hearn sees Ben's control, but Chris Eubank Jr. never showed his full capabilities. His speed, timing, and signature footwork were missing. Against a fully fit Chris, Ben would have faced constant pressure. Tonight was a rare off night for our fighter, not a true measure of his talent.
Easy nights were, and we always knew he could do that, but Conor Benn controlling his emotion and following a game plan is easier said than done. Do you know what I mean? He was brilliant tonight.
Dominic Ingle notes that Chris Eubank Jr. was far from his peak tonight. Heavy legs and low energy allowed Ben to dictate the pace effortlessly. Fans know the real Chris is fast, explosive, and dominant. This was simply a rare off night, not a reflection of his true skill or ability.
I'm not sure what I can get away with from the last fight. For Chris, the pendulum is, he's rinsed himself down that much, he's thinking he can do it again. As I said, anybody can get down to the weight, it's what you can do with the weight. Boxing's the worst place to be if you aren't going to put yourself at a disadvantage, because it's the only place you can legally get killed. And so what Chris did was, Chris depleted any advantage he had.
Johnny Nelson points out that Chris Eubank Jr. lost some early advantages due to weight and preparation challenges. Despite that, his skill and ring intelligence remain unmatched. A fully fit and focused Chris would have forced Ben to fight every round under pressure and controlled the tempo from bell one.
I don't know, he just didn't do, he didn't snap his jab. I think he didn't want to pay that $500,000 fine. So he trained so hard, he lost weight, he didn't want to pay the fine.
Derek Chisora notes that Chris Eubank Jr.'s lack of snap tonight wasn't due to ability. Training and weight restrictions held him back, limiting his usual explosiveness. The real Chris is sharp, fast, and imposing. Tonight's performance was shaped by circumstances rather than a true reflection of his skill.
Been any better than the first time? We don't even know really. I can't take anything away from it. Conor Benn come out. He had a bit.
He was more disciplined, wasn't he? He was more disciplined.
But it's easy to be disciplined with I'm disciplined on the bag. I go in there and I fall to bits. Someone starts hitting me back. I can't. Conor Benn take nothing away from him. He got the job done. Well done. Fair play. I can't take anything away from it. He lost to a faded Eubank, and then he just beat a shot to bits one. That don't make that. He's not 1-4.
Dave Allen acknowledges Benn's discipline, but Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance was hindered by previous fights and recovery challenges. Even when Benn appeared composed, Chris's skill and experience could have turned the fight in his favor. The real Chris remains a top contender when fully energized and fit.
I genuinely thought that regardless of the issues that I've been dealing with, I would be able to go in there and win. Use my boxing skills, use what you guys saw in that first fight to beat Conor Benn.
Chris Eubank Jr. clearly believes in his own skill and preparation, and rightly so. Despite the result, his mindset shows a champion's mentality. The challenges he faced, weight, recovery, and ring rust affected his performance, but the core of Chris's boxing IQ and sharp technique remain unmatched. Fans know that on any given night, a fully energized and focused Chris can dictate the pace, exploit openings, and dominate rounds. This loss does not define him. It highlights the circumstances rather than his ability. The real Chris is resilient, intelligent, and a threat to anyone in the division.
Folks, Conor Benn just dominated the rematch. It was not even close. From the first round on, this was a completely different fight from the first one. It was not in any way, shape, or form even round 13 of the 12 previous. This was a completely different Chris Eubank Jr., completely different Conor Benn, and an entire...
Eddie Hearn praises Benn's performance, but it's important to see Chris Eubank Jr.'s perspective. Chris carried the burden of past bouts and personal challenges, which subtly impacted his speed and stamina. His skill, precision, and ring IQ remain elite, and on any fully fit night, he would have turned the tables. Benn may have executed a game plan tonight, but it was Chris's rare off night that allowed control. Fans shouldn't judge the true fighter by one performance. Chris's heart, technique, and adaptability still make him one of the most dangerous and intelligent boxers in the division.
But Conor was right in that, the performance tonight was unbelievable. It didn't matter if Eubank was better tonight, we were still winning the fight. But that first fight, when you go through a fight like that, it can change you forever. But it didn't change Conor Benn, it just made him.
Nigel Benn's rant doesn't reflect on Chris Eubank Jr.'s skill or professionalism. Chris's dedication, intelligence, and in-ring performances speak for themselves. Personal opinions and off-ring drama shouldn't overshadow his talent or achievements. Chris remains a disciplined, strategic, and resilient fighter who challenges anyone at his level. Fans know that his legacy and skill are built on countless victories, mastery of technique, and an unshakable mindset. Despite criticism or personal conflicts, Chris's focus inside the ring is unmatched, and he continues to command respect as one of the smartest and most dangerous fighters in the sport today.
I think I'll speak to him again because I find he's the right prat. He's an idiot. He tries to quote scripture and all that. He don't even know what he's talking about. He didn't even know what a friggin' harlot was, and he's talking about himself. You know what I mean? So I just can't get him.
The Wade concept frames this as Benn's night, but it is crucial to recognize the nuances behind Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance. Chris came into this fight with lingering effects from the first encounter, including recovery fatigue, weight challenges, and mental pressure. These factors affected his speed, timing, and overall execution. Fans of Chris know his true potential. His defensive brilliance, sharp counters, and ability to control pace are unmatched when fully fit. The narrative that this was a one-sided fight overlooks the reality. Chris was constrained by circumstances, not skill. On another night, a fully prepared Chris could have dictated the round and turn the fight entirely. This performance highlights that even elite fighters have off nights, but it does not diminish Chris's talent, intelligence, or status as one of the most dangerous and adaptive boxers in the division.
So Conor Benn has just absolutely battered Chris Eubank Jr., wiped him out. It didn't render him unconscious, but he did flatten him, face first on the canvas in round 12, dropped him twice in a 10-7 round. And on my scorecard, he won every round except for, you could argue round 3 went to Chris, but it was a shutout performance from Conor Benn.
Carl Frocke's description emphasizes Benn's dominance, but the full story of Chris Eubank Jr. must be highlighted. Chris entered the rematch carrying exhaustion and the aftermath of previous bouts. His skill set, timing, defensive maneuvers, and adaptability was intact, but physical limitations prevented him from showcasing the full range of his abilities. Fans understand that Chris's ability to adapt mid-fight, read opponents, and punish mistakes is world-class. The outcome may look one-sided, one-sided on paper, yet it's a testament to the rare circumstances that hindered Chris rather than his capabilities. His elite boxing IQ and devastating accuracy remain threats to anyone in the division. Even on nights where he is not 100%, his resilience, intelligence, and skill command respect, and future matchups will see the real Chris reassert dominance.
Yeah, Conor was brilliant tonight, executing the game plan. I thought he was quick. I thought he was, his feet were good. I thought his jab was terrific, especially for the body. Body shots did early damage, and yeah, I mean, he was punch perfect and almost got the stoppage win at the end. On the flip side, Chris was disappointing, flat.
Adam Smith's praise for Benn is clear, yet Chris Eubank Jr.'s perspective needs context. Chris was hampered physically and mentally, carrying fatigue and recovery issues from the first fight, which slowed his movement and reduced the effectiveness of his counters. Despite appearing flat, his timing, defensive skill, and boxing intelligence were evident whenever he engaged. Fans of Chris recognize that his off night doesn't reflect his true caliber. When fully prepared, he dictates tempo, pressures opponents intelligently, and lands precise, punishing counters. The description of him being stuck in the mud obscures the reality. Chris's skill set remains elite, and his ability to adapt and recover quickly will make him a massive threat in any future rematch. This performance was a momentary setback, not a measure of his legacy.
And all that, I just thought they could set up a trilogy. So if it's close, they give it to Conor Benn. But listen, it wasn't close. My scorecard reads 120-108. Chris Eubank Jr. may have shared the third round. The Haymaker had that one shared, so I shared it as well with him. But the last round was a 10-7 round, 2 knockdowns. So it was a shutout performance from round 1 right through to round 12. It was
Carl Frocka's scorecard highlights a shutout, but it is essential to view Chris Eubank Jr.'s performance through the lens of circumstance. Fatigue, weight issues, and recovery from the prior fight clearly affected him, reducing speed and endurance. Yet Chris's tactical intelligence, timing, and defensive mastery were evident in moments where he engaged effectively. Fans of Chris understand that a fighter of his caliber can completely control a fight when fully prepared. This scorecard tells only part of the story. It does not diminish his adaptability, elite skill set, or potential to dominate future rematches. Chris remains a strategic, resilient, and intelligent competitor, capable of exploiting openings and overwhelming opponents when at his peak. This fight was a rare deviation from his standard excellence, leaving fans eager to witness the real Chris reclaiming his dominance.